The DC comic universe continues to bring us the Aquaman series. Unfortunately, it looks like this will likely be the last installment. Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman, has already talked about it. He's expressed hope that there could be another installment if it's successful at the box office, and with the new Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The question is whether it will be successful at the box office. Recently, superhero movies are not as popular as they used to be. I think audiences are getting tired of them. There are so many heroes out there, and they're all living in different worlds, like they're all in the same world. There are so many heroes, it's hard to keep track of them unless you're a regular viewer. I don't know who's who, and I don't know if it makes sense for them to keep coming out with new heroes. I know it's good for the movie studios to have new heroes, but there's not one or two heroes a year. There's so many, it's hard to keep up. Even Marvel has been struggling lately, so Aquaman is honestly less popular than other heroes. What makes him different from other heroes is the ocean setting. It's a different look and action, but on the flip side, it's also unfamiliar. If you show me something I haven't seen before, it's a success. If you don't do it well, it's a failure. It's not easy to satisfy all of these things, because it's no longer exciting to see a hero who can fly and survive the ocean. It's actually boring now, no matter what they can do. It's just taken for granted. When I look at Aquaman, I don't see any new characters, and the villains are the same ones from the previous movie. Black Manta is also back, and Orm, Aquaman's brother, is still there. It's a bit strange because there are no new characters. It's not a movie, it's not a TV drama, and you have to introduce new characters and create conflict. The only thing is Nerus, the king of the Lost Kingdom, who is also in the title, but he's just a legendary character. He's not even a supporting character, he's more of a minor character. At the beginning of the movie, Aquaman is pretty unhinged. He's obviously the king of Atlantis, but not on land at all. He's just a dad of one. He comes off as a dad who's dedicated to parenting. He puts his kid to bed, he feeds him, he does his laundry, and the only happy thing he does is drink a beer. Instead, in Atlantis, I'm busy being a king and taking care of things. You don't really want to do it, but you have to, because if you're not the king, there's a lot of talk about defeating the land. In this situation, Black Monty is only burning for revenge. She needs to defeat Aquaman to avenge herself and her father, and she's looking for it because she doesn't have the power to do it. Then she accidentally gets her hands on the Black Trident. Black Mantis is so vengeful that she's willing to sell her soul to the devil to defeat Aquaman. She's warming the planet to her advantage in order to gain more power. When Aquaman finds out about this, he sneaks Orm out of his cell to join him in his quest to find Black Mantis. Since Orm is the villain who tried to defeat him with the Black Mantis, he thinks he'd know better than anyone. And so the story goes. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of underwater action, or maybe I just didn't notice it because they're such an obvious race. But the important action didn't feel like it had anything to do with the ocean. Like I said, there's nothing particularly unique or exciting about the action, because it's all so familiar. Which is a shame because that means there's nothing unique to the ocean. But there was something that kept coming to mind while watching the movie, and that was Amber's poop. Recently, Amber Heard had a lawsuit with Johnny Depp, and there was a documentary about it on Netflix. And it was a big deal that Amber Heard pooped on the bed, and there was some talk that it was scaled back a lot in this movie. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and it wasn't as much as you might think, but whenever Amber Heard is in the movie, it's just kind of imprinted on you, and you can't help but think of it as Amber poop. There's a pattern whenever an ancient villain comes out of the hero waters. The modern villain goes to great lengths to bring the ancient villain into the world. At the end, the ancient villain comes out as the final boss, and every time he comes out, he gets wiped out by the hero. It's a very quick moment, and that's what happened this time. There's a cookie at the end of the movie, but you don't have to watch it because it's not that big of a deal. It's a burger scene, so I guess that's how Aquaman is leaving us. I don't know if we'll see him again until the United Front.